But I'm also watching unique opportunities that are popping up as a result of this.
I love bookkeeping.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the I Love Bookkeeping show. I am not your host today. This is Ben Robinson, and we're going to throw a little bit of a curveball with you, and I'll get to that here in just a second. But hey, I know that a lot of you are looking for past episodes of I Love Bookkeeping. You're looking for show notes and all kinds of other goodies. If that's what you're after, then I got the place for you. Hey, go to ilovebookkeeping.com. You're going to find all of the previous shows there, our show notes, as well as some other goodies that is going to help you as a bookkeeping professional. Now, I said today I'm your non-host. That's because we're going to turn the tables. I want to introduce you to somebody who produces and helps us tremendously with our show here at I Love Bookkeeping. And he is actually going to be interviewing me today. So I am in the hot seat. How do you like that? So without further ado, I want to turn it over to our podcast producer, and that is Paul Colligan.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, man. You're in a wacky time right now, aren't you?
Yes, we're a very wacky, and that's a technical term too, by the way. But yes, absolutely a wacky time.
From the Latin of wackiness, I think is the actual term.
That is. It is.
We've been watching here at the Podcast Partnership. We've been watching some really interesting things happen. We've been watching some people get a better connection with their audience because of what's happening right now. More time at home, more time to go for a walk, less new movies to go to and that type of thing. So watching some people connect better. We're watching some people just freak out with, and there's stuff to freak out about. I get it. I understand it. But I'm also watching unique opportunities that are popping up as a result of this. I've got several clients who have had really hard times getting shows recorded because they're always on the road. Well, they're not on the road anymore. They're home. They're recording content. And, I've got this business. The business is doing great here. Business is doing great with you, and I've got a neighbor who, unemployed because COVID literally destroyed his business. And so I've just been curious. And the other thing I've been curious about is the money side of all this. All this strange stuff is coming through. You don't have to pay your taxes. Oh, maybe you do. Maybe you can get a payroll loan. Maybe we'll forgive it. Maybe we won't. There's this stuff. And I'm thinking about, wow, the world of bookkeeping must be insane. The world of podcasting must be insane. The world of people running their own business must be insane. The people trying to make sense of all of this must be insane. And then I realized Ben is all four at the same time. You are you've always known you were a unique case study, my friend, but you are at an entirely different place. So I had suggested that we just, as an episode, I just want to get all the questions answered that I have about what this industry is seeing, because I'm just darn curious about it. And then I think part of your audience is going to be at the same place. If you dare to tell me how it's going to end or what the answers are or that kind of stuff, I'm just going to hang up this, because we're at a place where we don't know. But there are things we do know. There are things we can do. There are ways we can react. Everybody's got to turn in their taxes at some point. Some people have got to do their books at some point, and there's more work than ever before. So Ben, first of all, how are bookkeepers how are they? You're working with them. How are they making sense of this barrage of changes and this barrage of data and information? And what do you do with it? How do you do it? Especially if you're on your own.
Yeah, so that's a great question. One day at a time. It is an overwhelming time, and there is great change. But I always believe, and my contention is that out of great change comes great progress. And obviously, we don't want to be in this situation economically, but the bookkeepers that we're working with that have been in business for a while are so stinking busy right now. Get this, last week, I had 4 phone calls from individuals that I know that are in my mastermind or otherwise that I know them that needed help with their bookkeeping so that they could apply for various loans, this sort of thing. And the bookkeepers that I can refer to that I have worked with individually and that I can vouch for, which is something that I rarely do, all of them are laughing me out of the telephone at me asking if they can take on more work because they're so stinking busy right now. What this has done is that everybody who has been waiting to do their books, that has been waiting to do their taxes, is suddenly they have a call to action. They have an immediate need. Things that our bookkeeping professionals have been telling them all along. You need to have accurate books. You need to have them up to date. They need to be specific. All these things they're starting to take to heart because there's a lot of money and their actual business is on the line. So for bookkeeping professionals that are established, there has never, ever, ever, ever in the history of time been a better time to be a bookkeeping professional right now. Now, how that's going to look in 3 months or 6 months, I don't know. Nobody knows, right? But it's a one day at a time approach. You got to be looking at how we can serve our clients. How can we help them? What is it that we can do that's within our abilities to let their business survive? Because that's kind of the word of the day right now with business. It's survive. It's to make it through to the other side. And every single time that we have one of these cycles, we saw this again, 12 years ago. It was totally different, the circumstances that led to it, but businesses were going out. And the businesses that weren't prepared and the businesses that were not really businesses were the ones that didn't make it on the other side. And the person that had what they thought was a business had to go back and get a job. So it's definitely a different time. Bookkeepers, just keep your heads down, take it one day at a time, take things as they come, but really focus, number one, on how can I help my client? That's the biggest thing that I can tell you right now is helping your clients right now to do whatever they can to survive.
You said something that triggered me and had to take a note. I heard that they delayed income taxes, so I'm like, oh, good, I don't have to call the bookkeeper. But what you just said was that, but if you want to get the loan, the urgency of tax day gets replaced with the urgency of, get your paperwork in day. And so the need is strong and immediate. And nobody knows what's happening in 3 to 6 months. But if you got 3 to 6 months of work between now and then, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that there will be more coming out in terms of benefits or, I think that people mislabel what has happened up to this point as a stimulus. It's not a stimulus. It's a survival. So the next wave, I think that as this starts to wane and go down, I think that then we'll see stimulus kick in. But right now, what the SBA and what Congress and what the IRS has implemented up to this point has been, let's keep our small businesses just afloat right now. Let's keep people employed because they realize, they being the government and Congress, that it's a lot cheaper for them, and it's a lot better for us as a society if people are working. And the only way for a lot of businesses to make it is to get the benefits. And that's where bookkeepers are just playing this instrumental role in helping them to gather the information that they need for the small business loan administration or otherwise. It's an important time, a critical time for a business owner to have a bookkeeping professional in their corner.
And it's funny because it's not like there's a special COVID version of books. Your books are either done or your books aren't done.
Yeah,
and if your books aren't done, you cannot apply.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you have to have certain information. It might not be a complete set of books, but the important stuff needs to be there. And how embarrassing is it to not have that information and to be left out of pretty much what is free money, if you want to call it that.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I had a Mother's Day situation that was kind of funny. This little
you sound
French
more like a father. You don't sound like
for my wife, for my son.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And
all right.
Wanted to go by the French restaurant that we always get pastries from for any day that, ends with a Y, it feels like sometimes. But, went to the French restaurant to try to get something fun for Heidi for Mother's Day. And they were open. They were bustling. The parking lot was full. I wondered, my goodness, they can't be taking people. We're still in lockdown. And what I realized that they'd rejiggered the entire business and the entire organization to have these bake at home things. And unfortunately, I also found out that you had not ordered on Thursday. You were not getting anything that Mother's Day. So, poor me, but good for them. And then it was funny. So we went a second route. We decided it would be everybody's choice. Like I'll just make 4 restaurant runs for whatever anybody wants to eat. So I went to the 3 for the family, go out for my own run, and it's a restaurant that a style of food that I had liked. My favorite restaurant was actually closed that Mother's Day, but I go to the restaurant and it is falling apart at the seams. The food's still there, but the phone's ringing. Orders are coming in, Ben. People want to spend money. And the guy was so freaking out with all the other orders that he was picking up the phone and hanging it up again to just stop the damn thing from ringing, kind of thing. Yeah. And I'm looking, wow, one person was able to handle it. And by the way, I went to their website. And their website has this, thank you, by ordering these meals, we've kept all of our employees, we're still going strong, come buy a baguette. And, so one group flips over, does well, the other group freaks out.
Yes.
Same situation, both selling food, one French, one Persian, but still, it's the same thing. So what bookkeeping businesses right now do you see that are freaking out? Like what are the danger signs? What are the things that you're going to warn your mastermind people against?
Well, most of them are just flooded with business right now that are established.
Flooded. See, this so intrigues me, man. Flooded with business. We hear all about all this downturn, all this economic craziness, all this everything, and your people are flooded with business.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, obviously, they are an exception. The restaurants that you went to were the exception. The struggles that people are having are real. But I will tell you that there's certain categories in every downturn, there is something that is there. And I also think what we're seeing here is that we're separating the wheat from the chaff, or however you say that. You're seeing who really was prepared and had a business and really who just owned a stream of income.
Yep.
Because the people, and we talk about this all the time when we talk about advisory services, it's just the same things that we hear in our personal finances that businesses need to have. Right? I start to freak out if we have less than 6 months of operating expenses in our savings account as a business, as well as personally. And one of the things that I've been doing with our team every single week is giving them an update, letting them know, hey, we're at 7 months right now. Your job is secure, right? So one of the big things that I would tell you is that if you have a team, that team right now is very nervous. They're very wary. Right now, there is no such thing as over communicating, and there's no such thing as giving away too much information. If you are secure, let your people know that. Whether you're in a bookkeeping business or otherwise, your people need to know that you have their back. We have an obligation, or at least I personally feel that I have 12 employees, and then we have another 5 contractors, and then we have another, outsourced, kind of like what we do with you. I feel personal obligation to at least share the information with them. The last thing I would want is us to be down to 2 weeks and have to go, hey, I got to lay everybody off for a big majority of you, and that I am telling them right now is the first time. So being in constant communication with your team right now is very important because people are on edge. They are worried, as they should be. But one of the things that we're doing is really just coming back to our team and letting them know. And we're suggesting to our bookkeepers that they work with their team and also work with their clients to do the same, because people can typically deal with bad information. What people can't deal with is unknowns. That's what leaves them up. At least you have a fight that you know about. That's so much better than worrying about every single fight that you could possibly have. And so one of the things that I'm just suggesting, and I'm employing myself, is over communicating. I think that my team is probably, because every Friday on Slack, one Friday I didn't do it, and Monday one of them called me out and goes, hey, where's our update? I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. So, it's a tumultuous time. We're going to get through this. We don't know how, we don't know when, we don't know what it's going to look like on the other side. And that's why we have to just take it one day at a time and do all that we can, do all the good that we can for all the people that we can, and let the chips fall where they are. That's all we can do. That's all that's within our control.
This is solid, and it's interesting because I know, I was going to say, I think, we want the best information we can have. And there are pieces of information we're not going to get. I don't know if my kid's school is going to open up next fall or not, but I can do my books and figure out if I can afford it.
Sure.
I don't know certain things, but I can do my books. And I don't know certain things, but I certainly can communicate. My email hasn't gone down. My phone hasn't gone down. If anything, the phone's given me more minutes and more data and all that. I have the ability to communicate. I have the ability to get things in line so that I can respond.
Exactly. Yes.
And what a service to be able to give someone the comfort of answers. Yep, Evening News is going to make 30 statements of I have no idea what's going on, but I can tell you got 7 months. You got 6 months. You got 2 weeks. Whatever the number is, that straight fact could be really valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's worried, and myself included. Just because I'm leading a business and I have to be strong doesn't mean that I don't worry. Right. But I kind of let it go in one side and acknowledge it, write it down, say it, whatever that I'm thinking about. And there's a lot of power in just saying it and letting it go and focusing on what I can focus on. But we're very blessed in that our industry, I won't call it recession proof or depression proof at all, but I'll say it's very resilient. It's very, in diving watches, there's a waterproof and there's water resistant.
Yes.
We are certainly in a resistant type of industry in that businesses are going to need us, and they definitely need us right now. And I think that just being a calming voice as a bookkeeping professional, being a calming voice to a business owner, just calling them and talking them down from the ledge is something that we can do, not offering them any specific advice. You may be able to, but just calling them. How many of their advisors are calling them to say, how are you doing? What's going on? What are you struggling with? How can I help? Just some general things. Hey, we're going to get through this. This is what you got. Here's where your loan stands right now. Here's where we've submitted everything. Just being that voice of reason, that voice of calm with your business owners, that goes a long way. Not just today, but when this is over, and it will be over, everybody. This isn't a permanent lifestyle. It will be over. And when this is over, they're going to remember what you did. They're going to remember the position that you had that so few people ever came to them and gave. And so, this is a chance, whether you're a bookkeeping professional, an investment advisor, a banker, well, maybe not a banker, but everybody else that has a soul, just getting out there to all my banker friends, love you. But anybody just being out there, they're going to remember this. Your client is going to remember this. This is going to be, and we're not doing it such that, hey, we're going to get something from this. We're just doing it because that's who we are. We stand beside them. We are their nurse, right? And we're bedside with them, going through the surgery, going through the tough times and assuring them that it's going to be okay.
Well, anybody that helps you get to the other side. I mean, once you're on the other side, you're going to remember who brought you, and yeah. And you're going to, is this a time to start or is this just a time to expand your business?
No, it's definitely a time to start. So, one of the things with starting a business, and a bookkeeping business is no different, is that there is a ramp up. You don't decide today, hey, I'm going to start a bookkeeping business, or I'm going to start a podcast, or whatever the case may be. And then tomorrow, everything is just flying out, things are happening. It takes some time, whether that's 90 days or 120 days or 6 months, somewhere in between there. It's a great time to start a business. It's a great time to start a bookkeeping business. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. There are no assurances. That's one of the things that I love about a business. I have so many people that says, hey, I need some guarantees that I'm going to get X. And I'm like, if you're going into business for yourself, to hell with guarantees. You're never going to have a guarantee. You're the one that makes it happen. I can't guarantee you anything. I don't guarantee you a dime of income from this, but you are getting this yourself. So yes, it is a time to start. There is a ramp up, and I firmly believe that when you are at that point where you're ready to launch. But right now, I have people in our group that are like, oh my gosh, I worry about marketing right now. I'm like, if I were walking through the desert and I was parched and I was about to die of thirst and you had an oasis over here with very clean water, would you be afraid to come to me and tell me that you had this water? Hell no, you wouldn't. You'd be saying, take this. You have a service that they need. This is the very best time to be out there marketing. And if you're not, you're missing out on the single most advantageous time for you to be a bookkeeping professional and for you to be marketing. Now, in 3 months, will it look the same? In 6 months? No, it's going to look different. Will it look better? Will it look worse? Anybody who tells you, kind of like we were talking about before the show, is full of it, because we just don't know. But I know right now that people need us, and it is a great time to start, in my opinion. And it's a great time to grow. It's a great time. It's a great time to be advertising. We are seeing, we've doubled down, maybe tripled down on our advertising right now because ad costs are low. Cost for us to acquire a student is as low as it's been in a long time, right? And so we're focusing on that right now. Well, the one caveat that I would tell for bookkeeping professionals who are out there marketing is that, any kind of hard tactics are out. We're not trying to twist anybody's arm. And let's face it, we're bookkeeping professionals. We don't know how to twist arms when it comes to selling services. But this is a time to be working on fostering existing relationships, like I mentioned before, whether that's with an existing client, a prospective client that you've already had contact with, or somebody brand new. Okay, this is a great time to be working on what we call in the marketing industry top of funnel, making new connections, establishing goodwill, being the voice of reason, because those things are like seeds. We plant them in the ground and they're going to be harvested at some point. So to answer your question, yes, Paul, that's a long-winded way. It's a great time to start. It's a great time to expand. your bookkeeping business. It's not that way for every business, right? Most businesses are in a hunker down mode, but our bookkeeping professionals, the ones that are established, they're like, holy crap, the thing that I wanted, I am getting now in spades, and I want a break. And I'm like, buddy, you're not getting a break. You're making good money now. Stick with it, bury it away, pretend like it doesn't exist, because you may need that.
So this is good. This is fun. So those who are in the business, hunker down, treat your audience right, treat your customers right, the old as you would want to be treated yourself kind of thing. Hunker down, it's not like you can get on a plane anyway to go somewhere. So, get some work done. For those who are thinking, is this how I start? Well, you got more time than you've ever had before. And you got a hungrier audience than you've ever had before. Mm-hmm. So that's not bad. So tell me this, if it is so rich for both No Time Like Today and the No Time Like Today types, what does a mastermind do at a time like this? How does joining your group help get through this?
Well, our basic course, or not a basic one, but the entry level course of Bookkeeper Launch, it's a program that teaches you how to start a business, how to start your bookkeeping business from A to Z, from the skills to the marketing to the sales to the processes that you need. That's what it is all about. And it's really about our community and the support, the lifetime support. And that's really what I'm seeing right now, is that everybody is realizing, and it's true, that we can't do this alone, right? There's the old, what was the book? It Takes a Village, right? In this case, it takes help to start a business. It takes help from other people to grow a business. You can't do it alone. I mean, you can, but you're going to experience a much longer learning curve. I mean, what's the old African proverb? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. You got to go with others. If you want to take your business, if you want to launch it, if you want to grow it, if you want to hire people. And that's really where some of our secret sauce lies, is in our community and in the professionals who help you, not just any professionals, but those that are doing it. Right. Our student success team is made up exclusively of prior Bookkeeper Launch graduates who are not only have gone through and done it, but they're doing it now. So they have clients. They're in your shoes. They're walking the road that you have walked. They've experienced the crappy days that you have. Because let's face it, in business, just like in life, there's crappy days. There's days that you want to go, why in the hell did I do this? What was I thinking? And then the next day you're like, oh yeah, it's because of that. It's a roller coaster ride right there. But yeah, it is a, I don't remember the original question, Paul. I apologize. I kind of get off on my soapbox here, so
no,
I'm going to stand down.
No, you went there. My question was, what is the role of community and mastermind and something like this?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what I heard from you was just good old fashioned when your brain is so frazzled from everything else that's going on, being able to go to a place where someone's been there, done that, and you can watch the video or click the checkbox is going to be really helpful. And then B, yeah, we're not all going to the pub together and having a beer. And so a way to fraternize, speak to, hang out with, pick information from other bookkeepers is in what you have and what you offer. So not only are your bookkeepers in a space that makes a heck of a lot of sense, but you're in a space that makes a heck of a lot of sense for the bookkeepers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I share with you, and it's public information. We've shared this. Last month we experienced our highest enrollment rate ever, and not just by a little bit, but by 40%. We beat the number of students that came, and that's because the people are believing my contention that I've been saying for a decade now: control your income, control your destiny. Right. And control your income. There's a lot of facets to that. But one of the things is control it in a business that is a service that's to business owners, that's recurring monthly income. And bookkeeping checks all those boxes. And so being in control of your income, you are able to control your destiny. And it's just, I think that my contention out of all of this is that people realize that even more. Corporate jobs aren't going to go away, but I think that people are going to go, you know what? Controlling my income allows me to do a whole lot more than I did before, right? I haven't heard of any of our bookkeepers going out of business. Some of them have lost clients. Some of them have had to defer payments. Some of them have had to reduce their service fees. But out on the other side of it, they're picking up clients left and right that are making up for that. So they're like, oh, well, I'm going to reduce my service. And thank goodness, because I have all these people over here. So yeah, you have to be creative during this time. You have to be, it requires a different skill set. in terms of adjusting to what's going on. But that happens in life, right? I mean, what's the saying? What got me here is not going to get me there.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
My dog is barking in the background, of course, because I'm at home like everybody else in the world.
Exactly.
I'm not able to record this. So I may have to shut the door on her here in just a second if she doesn't stop barking. By the way, she is a golden doodle, and she's the cutest thing in the world. She's actually getting a website, hellococo.co, but it's not up yet. But
what are you focused on other things right now? Don't you have all this spare time in your existence?
I do. Yes.
Do all these
absolutely
things?
Not.
Well, hey Ben, this has been good. I'm just curious to watch, and as a student of controlling my own destiny and my own finances, I agree with you. But and then there's definitely a, how we approach things. I mean, that story of the two restaurants, both food, both ethnic. One decided to go A, the other one decided to go B. A was the right choice. But man, you're in an industry where it's, harder than others to fail, maybe would be the right word. You're in an industry that really is going to provide a very, very necessary thing, regardless of the state of economy. And that's interesting to watch. And providing it all online, doing stuff like podcasts. Nobody's getting on a plane to come out to your big bookkeeping event, that's for sure.
No.
And it's interesting to watch what you're doing, man. So congrats on your success, and congrats on the success of your customers. And, I can't wait to hear some more episodes when you interview people in your community of how they made it through COVID. I think the stories in 3 months are going to be different than the stories in 6 months and in 9 months, but I think they're going to be good ones. I think they're going to be good ones.
Well, I appreciate you being on, Paul, and interviewing me. And just for everybody that's out there, keep your head up. And I just want to leave you with this quote that's not mine. I wish it were, but I learned this from Joe Polish, a very smart guy. And so, Joe, if you're listening, I know that you do nothing but listen to my podcast, but he said to a group one time, and I was there, life gives to the givers and takes from the takers. Are you a giver or a taker? Not just every day should we be givers, but now more than ever, our clients are needing that from us. What can we give to them and not receive anything in return? But I can promise you that the more that you give, the more that you will get. We say that way. So anyway, Paul, thank you so much for being on and joining me here today. All right. Well, hey, everybody, again, thank you for being here. This is the I Love Bookkeeping show. Just go out there. Don't let anybody tell you that this is not a good time to start a business or this isn't a good time to grow your business. Now is the time. Carpe diem, seize the day. And until then, I will see you on the next episode of I Love Bookkeeping. Listen, if you would like to hear more great conversations just like today's, then I want you to head on over to ilovebookkeeping.com. There, you're going to find all of the shows, the notes, and some other great goodies that we have for you there. Now, if you'd like to be a guest on the I Love Bookkeeping show, there is a link that says Be a Guest. Go in there and we'll walk you through the process of getting on the show. And finally, to discover more about our programs, go to the courses page on the ilovebookkeeping.com site. There you have it, another great episode of I Love Bookkeeping. Thank you for being a proud listener, and thank you for being a bookkeeping professional. Enjoy the rest of your week.
I love bookkeeping. Here's a little shout to all my friends working hard at keeping the books. You want to change your life, you want to grow that biz, it's not as hard as it looks. Be a money guide, a profit coach, step up your game and see